Yay!
Your audio quality is very
It
different now.
probably sounds so much better, but now
It
I
does
can't hear Ben,
sound so much better. Oh, you can't hear me, but you could hear
which
me
is
at one
weird.
point, so I know the problem is not me.
Because I heard you
Yeah.
a second ago. Let's see.
I'm gonna keep talking just so Paul
I
knows when
um
he can hear
I'm
me.
going to
And
go here in the I'm gonna go to
welcome to Tech Talk
Bluetooth.
every week here on the
I've
Goody
got
Lawrence
my right
podcast.
I've got it on.
I can hear him. He cannot hear me.
Okay, so Ben's talking, and I
I am. I'm
am
talking, but I'm not really saying
I'm
anything. Just
wondering if
so.
there's anything. Okay, so here's what I can do. I can start another thing. Like I'll just go into um let's see here. I'm gonna go into the
This is fascinating
music
stuff.
app, let's
Today
say. Let's
is
see if I can find
Black
that.
Friday. I
Or
have
let's
not
see, do I
bought
have
anything. I don't
GarageBand?
generally participate in Black Friday.
I
It
have
is 4 o'clock.
iMovie.
I'm not going to
None of these things are
not going to
probably
buy
going to
anything.
help,
I am going to go have drinks
but
later on today with a friend of
like I
mine.
said, the one thing I can say for
So I
sure.
will buy a beer.
Oh, okay. So here's music. So I'm
Possibly
going to pull
two.
up music.
So that's probably the only. But I'll tip
And
well.
where
I don't.
is okay? I'm going to go
Actually,
to
I should look up and make
purchase.
sure the place that we're going
Is there no
is
purchase
open
music
today.
on this phone?
'Cause I
That would
don't
make
really
no sense.
know
Okay, so I'm pulling up
if Black
Air.
Friday is considered a holiday.
I'm going to play "Sexy Boy" by
In
Air.
terms of
Oh no, it's
like
downloading
the
all of Moon Safari. That's not what I
hospitality
wanted to do.
industry. Paul, what are you doing?
So crazy. All right, here we go.
I was a little surprised. I drove here today. I was a little surprised at how expensive parking was. Parking here on Capitol
Okay.
Hill has been so
So I'm
cheap for so long.
gonna see if
They
maybe it's just the
actually
volume. Maybe
stopped
Ben's been talking this whole
charging
time
for parking,
and it's just the
but
volume
then it
that's
just
not
started coming up slowly. But it felt like it
working.
took a really steep increase
Because
today.
things are playing.
I could actually park
Oh
for
my
four
God.
hours and
It is
get just and only pay like $1, but now it's $2.50 an hour here on Capitol
it
Hill.
is completely the volume.
You had the
The
volume
volume
turned
on
down.
my iPad was all the way down.
Your
So
iPad.
yeah. So you could hear me the whole time.
Yes.
And I should have been able to hear you, but I didn't.
Paul, Goody, are those new glasses?
These are my old glasses, but I'm wearing them. Longtime listeners of the podcast or people who listened just recently would know that I was complaining about these glasses, that I didn't like them, that they were dumb, and I was going to return them.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better, as people said I would. And
you
now
didn't believe us at all?
I actually like them a little. Well, the thing that you didn't necessarily explain was that things weren't going to get any better for me as far as, oh, I can only see this little sliver or whatever. Just that I would get used to only being able to see that little sliver and eventually not care.
Humans are very adaptable. It's how we've survived so long.
Hey, speaking about which, check it out.
Hey, somebody got their booster.
There's this one. I got booster in the flu shot.
Hey, it's about time.
Hey!
You're on the radio with Booster in the Flu Shot mornings.
In the mornings. Oh my God! Yes, we did it. We both did it. That's not bad, actually.
Good for you.
Ben is saying, see, so this is something that Ben knows about me that longtime listeners may know, and new listeners probably don't. For a long time, I wouldn't get the flu shot because I got the flu shot the day of the Primus Fishbone concert, and I saw Primus first, and then I started feeling sick, and I had to leave before Fishbone. And I was like, that's it. I'm not getting the flu shot again. It made me feel bad.
No shade against Fishbone, but you saw the better band.
Oh, come on. Fishbone is very good.
Primus is one of my all-time favorites, though.
You and I both love Primus. Yes.
Yeah.
I also love Fishbone, though. Angelo Moore, one of the best frontmen in the game, as they say. And they have a song called Subliminal Fascism. And George Bush was president at the time. And he said, this is a song that we call Subliminal Fascism, but I think we're just going to call it Fascism. Which tells you, I think, a little bit, the whole thing about how things are bad and they've never been worse and all that. May be true, but we always feel that way.
Yeah, because it always gets
consistent, worse. Yeah, exactly. It's the frog in the hot tub or whatever. Isn't that nice?
I've in the hot
minimalized
tub.
It. It's it's actually a frog in a boiling pot.
Right.
It slowly increase the temperature and it won't notice.
And the frog is constantly thinking it's never going to get worse. This is very bad. It's always been bad. Speaking of progressive lenses, I went back to the eye doctor last week and had an appointment, and I will be getting new glasses sometime soon. But also, my eye doctor recommended that I get a pair of glasses specifically for when I'm at the computer. Because I was complaining about constantly being able to or constantly having to adjust where my head was and the angle of my head to see the screen. And so it's just a way for them to sell me some overpriced glasses.
Well, actually, the thing that they're talking about, this is exactly what I was doing with my reading glasses. It is so much better to be able to see just everything when I use the computer. But again, I've just gotten used to, okay, well, this is what I got to do. I got to do this now. I got to do this, that sort of thing. I was really confused because people said that it wasn't about moving your head. It was about changing where your eyes were. I find that incorrect. It is about moving my head slightly.
Yes, because the thing you're looking at doesn't change.
Exactly.
Unless you're holding
it. Or unless it's one of those crazy scrolls. Secret War coming to Disney Plus. Speaking of Disney Plus, a lot of things ending, a lot of series ending.
Andor saw the end of season finale.
Which is really good. Loved it. Atlanta series finale.
Not on Disney Plus, but owned on Hulu, which is owned by Disney.
Oh, I didn't know that Hulu is owned by Disney. So did you see the season finale or the series finale of Atlanta?
I did.
Spoilers
for the
great ending. Great, wonderful ending because it was funny and yet also
left it kind of ambiguous ending as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what I like. A little bit of a send up to the old Inception.
Yes.
There. I
also,
believe he
a little bit of Saint Elsewhere thrown in terms of is the entire show a small part of something larger?
Yes, exactly. Which I think, there's some things, right? Like the invisible car, right? You remember that? The one guy had an invisible car at one point in time, the very beginning of the season.
Maybe
not the season,
it'll
not the season. The start of the series, the very beginning of the series. Might have even been the first two, but season one definitely. There was this guy who had an invisible car, and they do like a special effect where the invisible car, takes off and hits people. Lottie catching the snipe stuff like that. Oh my gosh! Though, is it Marvin's World? What's Paperboy's real name? Alfred.
In real life?
Alfred.
Because that's
Alfred's
Brian
World.
Tyree Henry.
Yes, Alfred's World. That episode. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Where he's on the farm.
Yeah.
So perfect. So wonderful, and just
it's also
he had the cast iron skillet mailed to him, so it was right. All that the way that everything came together was so
It's
great.
also it kind of shed a little bit more light on the episode where Darius goes to see. He wants to go buy the piano from that weird character that Donald Glover played, whose name I can't remember at the moment. But
his name is the name of the episode too. But because you've introduced it this way, I also will not be able to remember.
But it was one of the first, because after that, Atlanta kind of started playing more with the form. But that was one of the first ones where you're left scratching your head, going, "What was that? What was that trying to say?"
Another episode with Darius. So it's one of those things where
So was it his? Was he is he in the tank? So anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. Hey, aren't we all in the tank in some ways, Ben?
We are all in the tank.
Speaking of in the tank, that's a joke that was in a series recently. The series being The Devil's Hour, starring Peter Capaldi, which I haven't finished.
Oh, that's on Amazon, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I haven't seen it.
Spoiler for one of the
Peter
jokes
Capaldi.
on there. There are two goldfish in a tank, and one turns to the other one and says, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" Or, which I like. I think that's fun.
I've been a couple weeks ago. Steven hipped me to a British panel show I hadn't heard of called Mock the Week. Which
Mock of the Week.
No, Mock the Week.
Wait, maybe I've just been saying it wrong this whole time. But I think we're talking about the same show, right?
Hosted by Darryl Brain and 3 panelists on either side. And Mock the Week. It's not Mock of the Week. In fact, they made a joke about how a lot of people think it's called that on a recent episode I just watched.
It's like that episode of Almost Live where they did the thing on the bead store. Everybody thought that it was the bread store.
The bread store.
Yeah.
So I've been hoovering that show up on the YouTubes whenever I get a moment.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
That's sort of I've not been binging a lot of TV these days. Everything I'm watching right now has been episodic, like Avenue 5. I think Avenue 5 is done, I want to say.
Huh.
And
I've been watching Doctor Who again.
Atlanta.
I'm on the Jodie Whittaker run now.
Can't bring myself to start back up.
Yeah, Ben, you got to get over the fact that I'm kidding.
The doctor is a woman.
Long time listeners
can't operate on this.
That every once in a while I will make it sound like Ben is saying something horrible, even though he's not. It's like I said, the newest episodes are going to be on the Disney Channel.
Yes.
So I want to get through the episodes that are on.
Are they on Netflix?
No, they're on. Okay, so the early ones, early Doctor Who, right, are on BritBox, and then the later ones, the newer.
Are you talking about
newer ones
within the last 15 years?
So, Doctors 1 through whatever are on BritBox.
Yeah.
And then starting with
Eccleston, all
all the way up to the end of the run with Jodie Whittaker, I believe, are on HBO Max.
Yes.
And then the newest ones that come out in 2023 are going to be coming out on Disney Plus.
Why Disney Plus? What did Disney buy?
I don't know.
Doctor Who IP from
maybe,
BBC?
maybe.
Like,
and if so, does that mean we're going to actually see Doctor Who Lego sets? Maybe. Possible. Maybe there already is one, and I just don't know about it. I'm waiting for them to make a sonic screwdriver that actually works.
I'm wondering if that means that something. Everything is moving to Disney, or if like Christopher Eccleston through Jodie Whittaker are going to stay on HBO. And
right, exactly.
Ncuti Gatwa is going to be on HBO or not.
I think that might be what's. I mean, already you've got BritBox has the earlier episodes. So there's one that just got set out recently. Recently, I don't know, like within the last five years, I think maybe. They completed it with animation. And actually got Tom Baker back to do his voice,
really,
and stuff like that. So
one of the lost episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's on DVD or something. I don't know if you can actually find it. I'm gonna look and see if you can stream it anywhere. But yeah. Other news. I got The Wall and Wish You Were Here for Betty.
Trying to get her more into Floyd.
I was specifically asked to get it. I did not push that. I got the Avalanches album finally. Are you familiar with Avalanches?
I am.
They're an Australian like electronic music group.
Okay.
They do Frontier Psychiatrist, which I really recommend you take a listen to.
Is that a song?
Yes. But you should go on YouTube and watch the official video for it, because it's an experience that is best done
on YouTube.
In that matter. Yes. Seeing the visuals that go along with the song.
Yes.
For sure. Let's see. So I went to work today. I like working on Black Friday. If it's Black Friday, is it Black Friday? No, Buy Nothing Friday. You know what it is. You know what
yes.
I mean.
The day after Thanksgiving,
Friday after Thanksgiving,
commonly referred to as Black Friday. Now, did you go to work because you wanted to, or was your office, quote, open?
The office was open, but almost everybody took the day off. I like not doing it because then I can get work done.
Right.
Without anybody asking me any questions, which is pretty cool. Let's see. The dog is cute and nice.
I had a job where I had a job where I had to work on Black Friday. It was a retail job.
Ooh.
And
the worst.
I know, it was the worst. It was. I mean, it was kind of a. I worked in the. It was at the when I worked at the auto dealership in Bellevue, but I worked in the I worked at the parts department, which was like a retail arm of the auto dealership, and we had to be open because the saying went that it was a very good day for us, not because we had sales. We didn't have sales. We didn't have any Black Friday sales. We were open because we were just a few blocks from the Bell Square Mall, and the saying went, these old dudes who had Cadillacs dropped their wives off at the mall so the wives could go shopping, and they came over to buy the Cadillac parts that they needed, or to get the car serviced. That's why we were open.
There was a mall that Betty and I went to just recently that had the reason we went is because there's this place. It's called the Neutral Zone. It has
where we fight the Klingons.
It's a cabinet arcade.
Okay.
So they've got all the old cabinet things, and you pay $20. and all the games are set to not take tokens anymore. You can just play and all that. I did the pod racing, and the pod racing pod was defective.
Oh no!
And at first,
well, you get what you pay for, Paul.
I was like, man, I'm bad at this. I'm really. And then all of a sudden, I was like, well, wait, here are the instructions on how to do. Oh, so it kept on drifting to the left. Incorrectly. And so that was fun for me. I got to say, hey, I just wanted to, I'm not complaining or anything. I just want to let you know the pod racer, and I got to convince him that it was incorrect. Yeah, made me feel great.
That's a fun business model, I think. I don't know if they do if that's what they do, or if it was like a special occasion where you just pay a cover charge and everything's free.
Oh, that's the way it works.
That's the way it works all the time.
At the place.
I can imagine though that it's hard to get people.
Toys.
I can imagine it's hard to get people off the games if they don't have to pay, and if they don't have to like leave to go get more quarters or whatnot.
Yeah,
you're probably dealing with people who just like park at a specific game
that they like.
On end. Yeah,
it's possible. The one thing I will say is that this mall is not attended by a lot of people. It's crazy the stuff that they sell there.
A regular American mall these days.
Yeah, exactly. But there was like there were classes going on. There's a community center in the mall. There's a place in the mall that is completely a Dred Scott museum. It's a chess king that got converted into the Dred Scott museum. It's really interesting. Whenever Betty and I go anywhere, also the other thing is that I always do the avoid highways.
Okay.
I find that I have trouble driving in traffic. I know that might sound crazy to you, Ben, but I
drive in nothing but traffic.
Yeah. Well, but I also mean that you've ridden in a car with me when I was driving, probably at least once. I don't know how you felt about it, but Jennifer dislikes.
I am very much in the vein of a dad who wants to teach everybody how to drive and they're doing it wrong. It's an impulse I have to control. I have to work hard to control when I'm a passenger in somebody else's car.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons why our relationship was great as far as that goes, because I never had a car.
Because I'm the
really
driver.
And thank you. There are many things, Ben. Until we're like super old, I will keep on thanking you for all this stuff. I was thinking about this. I got about 20 years left if I'm going to live as long as Bowie did. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it's not that mean a feat necessarily to beat David Bowie age-wise, because he burned so brightly.
Yeah, I think you and Bowie probably are living different lifestyles.
Yeah. One would hope so. Again, one of those people that didn't. It is not entirely unproblematic, unfortunately, for the people that like him.
Yeah, 20 years does not sound like a long time to have left.
It does to me, but
But it's bedtime, and I'm tired.
Exactly. But this is really, honestly, this is the thing, is that there are folks that I deal with on a semi-regular basis right now who are like, I don't know how to draw, and I'm already 23. There's no way that I can learn at this point. And I'm like, I am more than twice your age, I could, if I had started drawing at the time that you say I can't draw, I would have been drawing longer than you. You have time.
Yeah.
You have time to do things. Do the things. It's amazing how much you can pick up if you actually just do them. I honestly, this is one of the things whenever I was doing children's books, which I'm not anymore, obviously, but I would tell all the writers, become a writer illustrator. Keep practicing until you can draw a consistent style. Doesn't matter if it's like the best drawing. If it's passable and your stories are good, you're going to get more work that way. And then I sold 2 books and never sold another one. So what do I know?
So it's a good thing nobody listened to you.
It's a good thing nobody listens to me. Paul Goody. It's really interesting, Ben. I've dropped down to the lower register of my voice again while I'm singing along with the radio and stuff. And It's not that I can't hit the, there's that thing where Paul McCartney's playing and they're like, well, he can't hit all those high notes. And it's like, come on, man. He's Paul McCartney.
He's Sir Paul. He doesn't need to hit those high notes.
Exactly. The Queen has absolved him.
He's got people to hit those high notes for him.
Exactly. But it's not just that. It's also because, and I know it sounds weird, but in my older age and all that, I am no longer the lead singer in my mind when I'm playing with these bands. I'm backing up. I am special guest star Paul Goody singing with the band that I'm singing with. I'm no longer fronting the band. They've called me up on stage and I'm like, okay, well, I guess Mr. Gabriel, I will sing big time with you. Thank you for this opportunity.
I for the longest time when I was listening to the B-52s in my car, I would only sing the Fred parts because those were the only ones I could sing. It's not like I'm only going to sing the dude parts. I just couldn't hit what Kate and Cindy were singing. So I often would just only sing backup on a lot of their songs just because that's what Fred did.
Oh, man. I told you about seeing them in concert, right? It was great.
Probably. I'm sure they put on a great show.
I saw them on the President, which was a boat venue on the Mississippi River. And I can't remember the song now. It might be Rock Lobster. It might be he lists a whole bunch of things that he's gonna do.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
Oh, sorry, but the basic thing is he changed the lyrics on one of the songs to say "poop deck," and I don't remember which one it is. But I'm gonna have to actually maybe even get B-52s.
Rock Lobster is very nautically themed, so I can see how that could be possible.
But I may have to listen to all of them and find out.
Well, if you start at their first album, you'll pick it up immediately because that's like the second song on their first album.
Yeah. But yeah, B-52s, good, fun band.
Somebody
times.
I know went to see them live quite recently and posted a picture, because I guess they're still touring, posted a picture of the show from like the nosebleed seats they were in. And I couldn't tell who the original members were that were still playing.
Really?
Like, I don't know who's on tour. I think it's got to be at least Fred and Kate. Those seem like they've been there the entire time.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
But you couldn't see if Fred was on there.
I couldn't because these were tiny little like blobs of light in an inky darkness.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a terrible. It was my friend is a terrible photographer.
Oh. So yeah. Let's talk about it, Ben. It's time for AI Art Watch. What?
Oh, God.
Oh, it's true. So recently, Ben, controversy. controversy.
Oh no,
Um,
what happened this
the
time?
the founder lead developer of Midjourney does this thing called office hours where he just gets up and talks, like people ask him anything and he'll talk about it, and people often are like, I think that Midjourney needs to have somebody come in and teach this guy about PR because he's just shooting himself in the foot every single time that he does this. Most recently, uh, someone was like, "Hey, you changed the model, like you changed the way that the software works. Software, just really quick, uh, has like a sort of a, makes a picture, right? You say, a man with a jack o' lantern for a head, and then it makes a picture of a man with a jack o' lantern for the head. Um, but there are lots of ways that could be done. He could have, it could be a cartoon, it could be a photograph, it could be, like a 3D Unreal Engine looking thing, right? You get that. So it has a default that it makes. And people get used to that default. And he says, never get used to the default because it's going to change. And it changed. And all of these people were upset. And they were like, I have clients that are expecting me to turn this thing in and all that. And in the rules, when you sign up, one of the first thing that says is, this stuff is never going to be stable. There will be downtime. There will be, changes. Don't build your business model off of this. And so somebody brought it up and he said, well, we talk about how you should build your business model off of this. And maybe, if you need something that's more consistent, it's not the right product for you. It's going to be great for doing mock-ups of things. It's going to be great for doing this, but for finished work for your client that's consistent and all that, you want to use something else, or just be ready to adapt whenever we change things, because we're not gonna stop. And he made this statement. Lots of projects take about 3 years to complete. We're not going to have the same model in the next 3 months, let alone the next 3 years. So you have to, and so someone was like, PR disaster. He says to artists that he doesn't want them using his product, blah, blah, blah. And just today he wrote, I think that people don't know how to use it properly. We may have to do some personalization stuff to fix that. Meaning give people more of a chance to like pick their style and things like that. And people were complaining and they're like, I can't believe that he says that we don't know how to use it. And it's like, no, shh, stop. He just said that he might make a thing that is what you want. Don't complain your way out of it. So anyway, that's what's up as far as that goes. Just people. There's a thing in video games, of course, where people are like, I can't get past this boss. How do I do it? And the advice people give them is get good. Same sort of thing. I can't get consistent characters. Learn to draw. Learn to draw a thing, and then you'll never
an artist.
worry about. Yeah. But and this is the thing, and I don't know. I guess it was September. I guess when I started 3 months, even the diehard artist people now are very much. This is a tool that is going to exist. I am just going to incorporate it into my workflow, like I do Photoshop and things like that. And that's I think the thing is that the newness of it will eventually wear off, and it'll just be yet another tool in people's tool bag. The artists that are professional artists are going to continue to be the people that have relationships with the people that pay for the art, like galleries. Well, galleries don't pay for art. Maybe they do. Do galleries pay for art, Ben? You would know this, maybe.
I know that if they sell a piece, they get paid a commission on the sale price.
Okay.
I do not know if they buy the art before. I'm sure the business model is different everywhere.
They probably, yeah. But I think you're probably right. They They probably don't. I wouldn't if I were a gallery, right?
Yeah.
I'd say you give us our art for free. We will show it in our gallery, and if somebody buys it, then we get some of the money. That would be the way that would make the most sense. So, but that's the thing is that maybe some guy. This is this is one of the reasons why I want to bring it up to you, Ben, because it's very similar to me to when you and I would hear about people who were, I'm going to put on my first play. This is exciting. We were watching this unfold on social media where people were like, I just found, we found a place. We found a place to do then they're going to let us do our show there. It's called Odd Duck Studios. And they've agreed to allow us to do, and you're just reading it going, it's a rental. There's no real audition to a rent. You haven't.
Right.
I mean, it's great that you found a place and that it works for you and all that, but you haven't passed some sort of test. Your play could still be really bad.
Yeah, you could still have 2 or 3 people come to see your play on any given night, and you still have to pay the full amount of rent.
And the thing of, a guy from The Stranger came and reviewed our show and said that it was bad. I don't see, maybe people don't know what good art is, or but that sort of thing. Where you just,
I mean, there's a bit of myopia around fresh artists when it comes to the quality of their art. I've seen a number of people get just really, really upset at reviews when they get a bad review. And it's sort of like, how do we put up with this terrible journalism in Seattle? This person doesn't like anything. My art's great, but this reviewer didn't like it.
And we've had our share of, again, Too Goofy to Hate was what we sort of gravitated to because it was a Memento Mori kind of. It
was also like our very first review.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, it's not 100% bad.
We were. I mean, what we don't include in Too Goofy to Hate is that in the same sentence, we were called derivative.
Oh well, yes, yes. We definitely did an edit on that for sure.
Yep. Though derivative of the Trachtenberg family slideshow players, GudeLaurance are simply too goofy to hate.
Yeah.
I should start putting that back into the review. Yeah,
like now, although derivative of the Trachtenberg slideshow family players is funny.
Yeah.
I think maybe we can embrace that whole thing.
I'm gonna start embracing the whole thing now.
Yeah. We're grown-ups. We're grown-ups. We can do this.
It's fun to dunk on yourself.
We've done more things than just that one piece now.
Yeah.
I think we can say that we've surpassed our.
I want to say though that when it comes to things that you and I have done that have been reviewed, it's been more often than not pretty positive. And when I say reviewed, I mean like a published critique in The Stranger or The PI or...
Okay, Ben. Now, this may sound weird to you. We've had other reviews besides that one that mention us.
You are forgetting our star turn in Matt and Tamra's play at Open Circle, the name of which I cannot say on the show, but we were the pig janitors. And we received a shout out in the review of that show.
Who wrote? Do you remember who?
I want to say it was Kylie.
Publication?
I think it was The Stranger. I think it was Brendan Kylie.
Okay.
I'll have to look it up.
Now that's something I will say. Brendan Kylie, pretty even-handed.
Yeah.
When people say Jennifer Pratt.
How many Jennifers are in your house?
No, hey Jennifer. Brendan Kylie. Brendan Kiley from The Stranger?
Yeah.
How would you call him even-handed when it comes to reviewing?
No.
Jennifer says no, and I trust Jennifer.
He has things where he like decides that like, or if somebody he doesn't like personally or something, it just, generally speaking, he's a pretty good reviewer.
Generally speaking, but he can hold opinions.
He did have a reputation for leaving shows at intermission.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
all right. So
that's good enough as far as I'm concerned.
I found our reviews. There were 3 reviews that we got for effed as the pig janitors in that show.
3.
So Brendan Kiley from The Stranger writes, a special thumbs up to Paul Goody and Ben Lawrence for their fine interact slapstick as sick janitors, gleefully mopping up all the bodily fluids lost during each segment.
Nice.
Robbie Wax, WACHS, from theaterseattle.com, a website I'm sure does not no longer exist.
Really?
He writes, the time between the plays is also put to great use. Wearing pig masks and janitor costumes, Paul Goody and Ben Lawrence never fail to entertain. Their body movement was quite striking, as they found clever ways to clean up the carnage from each previous play. Complemented by a breathtaking sound design by Luke Allen, the 2 performers add a playful and fun quality throughout.
Okay, so pull out Paul Goody and Ben Lawrence never fail to entertain.
Yeah.
I think that goes right next to, although derivative, family site.
So Joe Bowling, do you remember Joe Bowling?
Oh, Joe, I do know. I do. Joe Bowling, I talk about him a lot, actually, because he's one of those guys that figured stuff out a little bit. Collecting coins and buying almost expired food to make a daily food thing.
He did a show, like a 1-person show here in Seattle, where he basically just talked about his life. It was fascinating. He too had a reputation for being a bit of a curmudgeon. But what he did have was the time to go see almost every single production in Seattle. And he posted a review of these shows on TPS Online. And he went to go see this show, and he writes, between each play, 2 janitors, Ben Lawrence and Paul Goody, come out. First time, my name is first, by the way.
Did you see me notice it? Like, hey, what's going on here?
Ben and Paul come out to clean up the messes, blood in this case. They are mute, masked, and remarkably entertaining.
Hey, that's all right.
So yeah,
I'm gonna use a medical term for a body part, Ben. I think it's gonna be okay. Something that Bama Roger wrote at one point in time was like she wrote a monologue. I think it was for when Kira was leaving. And they had that send-off for her. Keira Knightley, I believe, was leaving. They had
Keira McDonald. Keira Knightley was in Bend It Like Beckham.
Okay, sorry about that. Keira McDonald. Sorry, Keira. She used a British accent in one of the sketches that I saw her do one time. Anyway, Keira McDonald was leaving, and I think Roger did a monologue that night. And one of the things she did was I did a version of the vagina monologues using my vagina. Joe Bowling said that I didn't enunciate properly. That was the joke, which I liked.
Yeah, pretty funny. I don't know of what else we've been reviewed other than like occasional like spin the bottle write-ups in the paper. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Naked
again,
Ladies.
the Naked Ladies. That's right. That's right.
Anybody came to review that?
I avoid reviews in general because I want to read them too much. If that makes sense. Does it make sense?
Yeah, and you have more self-control than I do because I will go and seek out the reviews and shows I'm in once they're posted.
Yeah, like I know that I am of a mindset where they could say this. Paul Goody was excellent, if a bit loud at blah blah blah, and I'll go loud.
Yeah.
That's just
what do
the
you
way
mean
that,
I'm loud?
Oh, I remember ATF. Like an angel that comes from the ceiling and annoyingly plays the banjo, something to that effect. I don't remember exactly, but or excruciatingly plays the band, something.
Hey, at least you got singled out if it's something about like excruciatingly playing the banjo. I don't think I was mentioned at all in any of the reviews. I was just one of many clowns on that stage.
Yes.
Not remarkable at all.
Kind of like Congress, am I right? Hey,
that's our political humor for today.
That's a callback to Mystery Science Theater 3000, where I think it was Crow, it might have been Tom Servo as well. They were doing stand up, and the idea was that Crow kept on saying Congress over and over again. I think he was pretending to be. I honestly think he was pretending to be Jay Leno. I think that they actually added like a big chin to him. But yeah. So Ben,
Paul,
what is happening in the news? Ben Lawrence, what is happening in the news? I have not been paying attention.
What is happening in the news?
Obviously, Twitter. Now if the people in the forums of this, one of the things that you'll find, people who are in cutting edge beta testings of things, lots of them like Elon Musk and believe that he can do no wrong, blah blah blah. They think that the problems happening at Twitter are great and wonderful and things are going according to plan, which I find difficult to believe. But
there's the thing about Elon Musk is that he's becoming a darling of the right for some reason, and posted a
South African guy who made a lot of money with an emerald mine that his parents. What could make a conservative person?
So
no, I'm kidding.
He posted this poll on Twitter where he asked if he should reinstate the former president, and almost unsurprisingly, yes
on Twitter
was the majority. So,
I was confused for just a second. I thought, does Elon Musk have the power to do that on Twitter? You mean on Twitter?
Yeah.
Should he
Twitter.
be? Yeah.
And almost unsurprisingly, a majority said yes. A majority of his followers. So
I'm not on Twitter, so that sounds great to me. Sure, why not?
Paul, here's Paul gonna guess the news.
Yeah.
And in the category of sports, what big sporting event is happening right now?
Oh, I know this. It is, and it's because it's related to local news, which I'll tell you about. It is the World Cup, Ben.
It is indeed the World Cup.
Now, Ben, I'm going to have this is an Uno reversal. Ben, what do you have to do? Why do you have to drive 20 miles away from the stadium when you're at the World Cup if you want to have a World Cup at all similar to World Cups that you've been at in the past?
Is this in regards to Qatar suddenly not allowing alcohol sales in the stadiums?
Why, yes, Ben, it is. So you have to go somewhere else to buy alcohol. That's number one. Number two, what is the insult to injury for that little excursion that you're going to take to drink your beverages?
The insult to injury, is it that Budweiser is a major sponsor of the World
It
of
is
FIFA and the World Cup?
the beer that you're going to be drinking, Ben, is Budweiser, of course, produced by Anheuser-Busch in the great city of St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
Apocryphal, perhaps, but it is said that Disney World was going to be built. Disneyland, sorry, was going to be built
of
in
Bud.
St. Louis. But then the Bush family made fun of the fact that they weren't going to sell alcohol at the park, and Walt Disney pulled out. That may actually not be the case, but it's a good story, and people tell it.
That's an interesting question. I actually don't know this. Can you buy alcohol at Disneyland?
You can buy alcohol at the 13 Club or at Club 13. I know that. The rest 13. Of it, though, I don't think so.
Well, I mean that's like in restaurants and stuff. I don't think there's like tiki bars around the Magic Kingdom, but like, or is Disneyland / Disney World in Florida? Are they dry?
I believe that they are dry. Jennifer, do you happen to know?
Real-time corrections.
Jennifer? Hey, Jennifer Pratt. I am under the impression that Disneyland and Disney World are dry. You cannot buy beer there.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, it's not true? Okay, never mind. I'm wrong.
All right.
I am wrong.
We've learned something today.
Yes. I thought that you could only buy alcohol at Club 13 or the 13 Club.
No, I think there's like some place on like Pleasure Island or something. But I don't know. I haven't been in a million years. I mean, you can't just like be walking down the promenade and have one to walk around with it.
Yeah. It's not Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking about which, Ben, Lost. Maybe just Fantasy Island?
The TV show Lost is just Fantasy Island?
Maybe
is this a new fan theory?
No, I was just thinking about it like right now, just like I'm sure somebody's written it. I bet you look it up. I'm sure somebody. They're on an island. Things that they want turn out bad for them. Makes sense. I'm liking my beard. My beard's coming in. Have you seen it?
I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Lost, but what I have seen is your magnificent beard.
Hey, welcome back.
Getting a little bit more gray in there, Paul.
Yep. I shaved it off because at one point in time, only this part was gray.
Right.
That's not the only reason, but only this part was gray, and it really just aesthetically was messing with me. But now I've got some more here on the side, and it fades a little bit better.
When I let my facial hair grow out a little bit, I do have some gray starting to show up here on either side of my chin.
I really honestly think, Ben, that a lot of facial hairstyles came about by vain men shaving off the parts of their like mutton chops. This right here, just people just shaving this part off, that sort of thing.
Back before there was Just for Men.
Hey, and check this out. Look at how different my hair color is from my beard color. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But what you gonna do? I ask you.
Change your beard color.
Change your beard color. Have you been watching 1899?
No, but I do know of it. And in fact, there's one bit of feedback that I saw from somebody online. I think it might have been Jason Schmidt, although I don't think he'd be this pedantic. That's not the right word for that. I don't think he would. I think he would point this out. One of the characters.
Somebody said the word "okay."
Yes.
Jennifer mentioned that somebody said that too. So it's someone that both you and Jennifer know.
It's probably Jason. It was probably Jason then.
Hey, Jennifer.
Oh God.
Who was the one who wrote that they didn't like that in 1899 somebody said okay?
John McCain.
Oh, it was John McKenna.
John. Yeah, that sounds like
Friend of the
something John would
podcast,
say.
John McKenna. Yeah. But for me, I almost, this is a true story, almost didn't watch it because the theme song is Feed Your Head, cover of it. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the cover. I was like, I don't know.
You didn't like a cover, but you're Mr. Cover, Paul Goody.
I love covers. But this one was, I don't know. Just didn't sit well with me.
Feed Your Head. I don't know that one.
White Rabbit. It's not Feed Your Head. It's White Rabbit, Jefferson Airplane. Did you see Cable Guy?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what song you're talking about.
So that was
I've
too
not
bad,
seen Cable.
but...
No, I've not seen Cable Guy.
Oh, really? It's all right.
That's the Jim Carrey, Matthew Broderick TV show or movie.
It's a statement on mass entertainment and things like that. It's something.
It's not just a wacky vehicle for Jim Carrey.
This is the thing. It's one of those kind of like Revolver, where it's billed as a wacky Jim Carrey vehicle, and then people see it and they're like, well, this is sad, actually. This is depressing.
This is a comment on consumerism.
Revolver with Jason Statham is billed as an action film, but it's really about getting rid of your ego.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Beatles album. Much like how a Lawnmower Man was not really about CGI. It was more about a murderous, mentally unstable lawnmower guy.
Did you ever read Lawnmower Man by Stephen King? The short story?
It's a short story.
How it has absolutely nothing to do with the movie whatsoever.
I think there's what they both share is like there's a point in both the book and the movie where some dude kills somebody else with a lawnmower. I think that's the only thing that they share. There's no like early on like early days computer animation at all in the book. The book is just like about a murderous dude.
Well, the book, if I remember correctly, the book is actually about a guy who eats grass. Like he's crazy, like a weird supernatural being.
I don't actually. I think I read it in high school.
And he eats a dude.
So,
like, he's the lawnmower. Anyway,
speaking of Stephen King, I read this oral history of The Mist. I think it was on Variety. And have you seen The Mist, the Frank Darabont film? Came out in 2007.
No.
Stars Thomas Jane, Sam Witwer, Melissa McBride.
Wait, Frank who now?
Frank Darabont.
Was he an actor besides being a director?
I only know him as a director.
Okay.
But
I know of the Thomas Jane starring The Mist, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I read this oral history and went back and watched the movie because it's on Netflix. Now, I don't know how you consume your streaming media. I have an Apple TV. And so, but I have all these different streaming media apps. I have Netflix, Prime Video, Apple TV Plus, Hulu, Disney. I need to stop collecting streaming apps, but it turns out that it's something I want to watch is on a specific app. Anyway, there's at one version of Apple TV, like the version that I have, they introduced universal search, which is where you can just speak right into Siri in your remote and you say The Mist, and what it's supposed to do is tell you which app The Mist is playing in.
Yeah.
And like if you have Netflix, you say, oh, The Mist is in Netflix or it's in Disney or Hulu. But I've noticed that it has stopped doing that. And when you do a search for a property, it will immediately take you to the iTunes page where you buy or rent. So
Ooh.
I wanted to watch The Mist, and I spoke The Mist into the universal search because I didn't want to go through each one of the 7 streaming things that I had. And it was like, buy this from iTunes. And I'm like, I don't want to buy it from iTunes. So I went to Netflix and I did the same thing. I spoke The Mist into the search bar of Netflix, and lo and behold, there it was.
So here's a question for you: do you have AMC Plus?
I do not
Shudder
have AMC Plus nor Shudder.
I was going to tell you. I think I've already talked to you about this, but Saloon is a good movie. I'm telling everybody about it.
Saloon.
I made it be SALOUM.
Is it a foreign film?
It is. It is.
Do I gotta read?
No, it's in English. They speak English. Wait, do they?
Is it dubbed?
Or do they speak French? It might be. Oh, now I don't remember. I think they're speaking French. But I don't remember.
Maybe we'll learn what language they speak in Saloon and figure it out next time.
Isn't that crazy, Ben? The reason I don't know is because, like, I've talked to you about this before. It may not happen to you, but it happens to me. When I see a movie with subtitles, when I remember the movie, they're speaking English.
I don't remember that aspect. That doesn't really happen to me. However, I do when it's a language that I have studied, and it's by studied I mean I took 3 years of Spanish in high school and 3/4 of French in college, right? So if it's in one of those 2 languages, sometimes I find myself not paying attention to the story because I'm trying to identify words that I recognize. But
it happens to me as well.
Do you remember when we went to go see Revenger's Tragedy? I think it was at the Grand Illusion. I think you were there. The copy that they had was an English language copy because the film's in English, but the subtitles were in French. And watching that movie felt like being an illiterate French-speaking person because I could understand what they were saying, but I could not read the text. I could identify a couple words.
I mean, I saw that somewhere, so it must have been the same. We must have seen it.
We went to go see a number of films at the Grand Illusion. I remember there was one movie we saw. It might have been this one, but you had a lot of hair at the time. You had a lot of hair at this time, and I sat right behind you. And that was something else. That was kind of annoying.
I think we saw Dog Soldiers at the Grand Illusion.
We might have. You might have.
Anyway, speaking about seeing Dog Soldiers at the Grand Illusion, it's at the end of the podcast.
It's the end of the podcast. Hey, good talking to you, Paul. Happy Black Friday for all who celebrate.
Exactly, yes. And hey, until I see you next time.